Hey y'all, what's going on? This is Doggone John coming at you with a collection update right here. I decided I haven't gone through all my traditional knives before, so I figured I would lay them all out for y'all on the tailgate here. I'm trying out something new here with this tripod. As you can see, I got the legs here. I haven't quite figured it out. This thing's for a GoPro, but I don't have a GoPro, so yeah, this is what we're going with. I got a nice cold drink today. It ain't the Lord's drink like old Richter, but it'll do. By the way, if you get a Fresca and you're into that, grapefruit's the best one. Oh boy, look at me. I done spilled on here and everything already. All right. Let me get a sip of this and we'll get started. All right. So we'll go from the top and work our way down. This one here, you already know. This is that GEC 13 whip in Springfield antique yellow bone. It's got the polished finish on the blade. I polished up these bolsters a little bit after the one steak I ate. It kind of tarnished them up. But you already know a little bit more about this. She's a 13 pattern. She's got one blade, and she was made this year in 2024. Beautiful brass pins and liners. Great fit and finish on the back, of course. Yeah. Anyway, I've been through that one a bit. But there's that one again. Next up, we got the GEC 72 Cody Scout in burnt sienna bone with the lockback. This one here, I don't tote around enough, I think. I really should start toting it more because it's a gorgeous one. Now it's got some patina on there and stuff like I use all my traditional knives for. But I think it just adds character to it. Looks beautiful with the bone, I think. Like I said, or maybe I didn't say, can't talk. That's burnt sienna bone. I think that each pattern of these is really interesting and very unique. The Viper down here is the same deal. The way that they do their bone dyeing and stuff like that is just unreal. I think it comes out beautiful. This thing here it's got a little bit of rock lock, nothing crazy. There's no side to side, but the up and down, it's a thing. It's not gonna hurt nothing though. I mean, it ain't going anywhere, and if you want to hard use it, it's a good blade for you. I sharpened this guy up pretty dang good the other day. I used my own little gunny juice mixture that I learned from Richter. You take a 1 micron diamond emulsion spray and you mix it with some water, throw that on a strop, and you're in business. It does a really awesome job on these carbon steel blades. So I actually went through all these and strapped them all on it just to see what it would show up like, and this thing is screaming sharp now. I don't know if you can hear that, but I mean, yeah, it wants to take my finger off. So anyway, there's the 72 pattern with the drop point, clip point blade, whatever you want to say. It's a 1-blader, and it was made in 2023. So there's that guy. Next up is a Case Sodbuster Jr. She's in mahogany bone, full of patina on there as well. That's going to be a recurring theme, you know. So just expect that for the next few knives. Brass pins, brass liners on there. Sharp as all hell. I mean, it is. This thing here sharpens up better than probably most of my knives combined. For some reason, the carbon steel on this one here just does a freaking amazing job on that. Here's the pattern 6137. She's a USA made. I think every single one of these, except for maybe 2 of them, are USA made. Simple XX case shield there. Pretty nice though. Simple, elegant. Wonderful snap. Only fit and fitment issue that I see is this right here. There's a little bit of a spacing But I mean, I can live with that. It ain't harming anything really. So we'll put that back down there. Man, the lighting out here is fantastic, isn't it, y'all? It's a pretty gorgeous afternoon. We got a little bit less snow than I thought we would, and the sun kind of melted away anything else that was here, so pretty stoked on that. All right, got myself a drink. Now this one here, this is made by a company called Sarge. It's a clip point lock back. It has similar characteristics to like a copper lock, basically. It's got some fit issues there on the back. Fit and finish. I realize I've been saying that wrong the whole time. Why didn't y'all say something, man? I sound like a dingleberry, man. Fit and finish, man. Fit and finish. So yeah, anyway, it's all right on this though. This knife is just really special to me because this is the knife that started my collection pretty much. My wife bought this for me in Tombstone, Arizona. We were walking down the main street there, and there's a little cigar shop. I like to get a cigar on vacation every once in a while. So we popped in there to grab a couple, and while I was in there, I seen they had a little display case, and they had this little thing sitting in there, and that orange pop of the covers there just got me, basically. And she saw me eyeing it up, and she's like, hey, you want that? And I was like, yep. So the rest is history. It's a Chinese-made knife, 440C stainless steel, though. It's no slouch. And I used this thing for a really long time before at the Grand Canyon. My wife and I worked there at a little off-grid place, and I used this day in, day out, and it was a great blade for that. It's got a little bit of wobble now because of that, though. No up and down, just side to side. It's a little bit of blade play. But that's because I really put the hurt on this thing. I would whittle with it, and I would use it all day long for my tasks and stuff at work. But it's a great little traditional knife. They're cheap. You know, I don't think this was much. Might have been marked up a little bit because it was Tombstone, but other than that, I think you could probably grab these for pretty dang cheap. So yeah, there's a Sarge. This one here I don't really know a whole lot about. I got this in a trade for some sharpening supplies and things that I had. It's a Victorinox, Swiss made. It's got a really cool like frag pattern on here, so it's very grippy. It's still a little bit slick, you know, in your hand, but that's because it's all like a stainless steel there. But it's cool. I mean, you can't go wrong with something like this for a little traditional blade. It's cheap. I like the equal ends to it, the pattern itself. And I don't think those pins are brass. I'm pretty sure it's all like stainless steel, or maybe aluminum actually is what the handle material is. But she's stainless. Sharp as a tack on the ends. I haven't even touched that yet. I really haven't used this thing all that much, honestly. It's got an interesting back spring here too. It kind of like grabs it there, and it's not flush with the knife. You can kind of see when you close it that it's got that little swoosh down, and then it grabs the back of the blade there. So it's an interesting little system how they do these. So yeah, there's that little thing. I honestly can't remember the name of this. I think it might be the Alux, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. I'm gonna basically slide this in my little sidecar that I have, my Imperial fixed blade that I've shown before. I'm gonna show it on there, or put it in there, I mean, because it fits nicely in the sidecar spot, better than this does. Anyway, moving on. We got the Sodbuster pattern from Great Eastern Cutlery. This is the 71 bullnose. You can actually see the etch in there now. I cleaned this blade off and kind of like polished it last night a little bit with my buffing compound on the strop, and it came out pretty great. And then I used that diamond emulsion on here too, and she is sharp, man. She is sharp as a tack. Bam. I love this one as a sodbuster pattern. It's a great one. It fits my hand a lot better than like the Junior does here. from Case, but you know, that's kind of their deals. They wanted a hard use brand, so this is their Farm and Field brand. And as you can see, there's the Model 71. It's the 5 style blade, so it's a Skinner blade. It's one blade, obviously, and she was made in 2021. Brass pins and liners on the, or brass pins in this, excuse me. And I'm pretty sure they use the same carbon steel for the back spacing and the liners, so it all wears in pretty well together. It's got a great pull on it too. And then I added that little lanyard on there. It's nothing fancy, just a simple tie design. I cut it at an angle there for a little bit of flair. So yeah, there's that guy right there, the 71 Bullnose. This is green linen micarta also. I don't think I mentioned that on the covers there. Has a great textured feel to it. It's grippy, and it's also just very comfortable. I mean, I'm a big fan of micarta, so that's that anyway. I'm gonna lay that down, move on. So next up we got the 47 Viper, also Great Eastern Cutlery. Man, it's almost like I like them or something, you know? It'd be kind of weird if I didn't, right? Let me get one sip of Fresca real quick before I start this. All right, so the 47 Viper from Titty Ute. You can kind of see the etch in there, but there's a genuine cattle bone, the genuine bovine bone, I believe it says in there, something along those lines. This thing's a teener machine. It doesn't take much for this thing to collect them. I cleaned them off one time to restart them, and I picked it right back up within the first day, I think it was. Pretty awesome. So there you can see your serial number. She's a 41 pattern. She's got one blade, and it's made in 2023. It's a pretty recent release, but honestly, it's probably like my favorite release of them. There's only a couple other cover variations that they made that I really enjoy, but this one here is very special to me. This is my first GEC, my first Swayback, my first Wharncliffe. Yeah, it's just kind of started it all, man. Once I had this in my pocket, I was like, I gotta have all of them. I gotta have all of them, man. So I've been on a mission to just try out different patterns ever since this thing here. The fella who owned this, he was on YouTube too. He actually showed up on my video and he was like, hey man, is that my knife? Did you buy that off eBay? And I was like, yep, I sure did. And we got to chatting. So it was pretty cool that he, the previous owner, got to see this thing. And yeah, if you're watching now, man, it's still in good hands. I'm loving this thing. It's a great knife. Beautiful walk and talk. Probably one of the heaviest pulls and walk and talks on this, or in my collection, I mean. Yeah, you can't beat that. She's got the brass liners, brass pins, lanyard tubes, brass too, which is a little bit different, I think, for most of these. I don't think they always do that, but you know what? I stand corrected. Out of every one in my collection, they all do. So call me a liar. I just learned something new about this the other day too. Richter had a video about the 74 pattern, the Mustang and the Stallion. And he was saying on there that this is the same exact pattern that they use. So if you look at it this way, you got the 47. And then if you go like that, there you go, there's your 74. So it just has that swoop down instead of like the sway back pattern. So I think I would be very interested in the 74s if I ever get my hands on one, because this is like my favorite size GEC that I have. Just fits the hand extremely well. All right, I'm gonna move on though. Next up, we got a fan favorite here, the GEC 35 cattle knife with the long pull and the oxblood covers. Oxblood jig bone. Just unreal. One of my favorite is the cigar patterns. And that spear point absolutely gets me too, man. It's like it's just a winning combo. You can't go wrong with that. She's a Titty Ute made knife. And then on the back, you got the Great Eastern Cutlery, made in Titusville, PA. So I didn't know if you knew this or not, but these are made, produced, and shipped out of Pennsylvania. Kind of like me. Same deal. We're one and the same, these Great Easterns, Cutleries, and myself. I don't know what kind of shield they call that. It kind of looks like a bow tie. And I'm gonna ride with that for right now. Got the brass pins in there. I don't think it uses no brass liners in this one. Pretty much all they went for like a full steel design on this thing, man. It's incredible. You can just see it looks like one piece of metal. It's just clean, polished, and the fitment is just amazing with them, as always. Got some patina going on that spear blade. I use this quite a bit. So there's a spear blade on that guy. And then you got two other blades on here. You got like a sheep's foot with the carbon steel too. Just nice and short and utilitarian. I use this a lot for leather because it gives me a nice straight cut across things. It's very precise and pointy. So that's exactly what I need for that. And then you got one more here. You got a spade blade. And this is the one that carries the numbers on there. Those fancy little numbers that tell you a little bit about that knife. It's a 35 pattern. Let's see here. I got 2 is a blade style, so I'm gonna guess that's the spear point. And then 3, you got 3 blades, and she was made in 2022. It's the year I got married. That makes this thing even more special to me. So, yeah, this cattle knife is really something, man. It's got some great snap to it. I've seen people blade delete these a lot, and then they add the half stop, which I would kind of love. But at the same time, I like the use of having 3 blades on me. I could carry this knife alone with me, and I'd be able to get through my whole week probably. Well, I know I would. But, yeah. One thing that's cool on these too is it's got a nice thin, like a swedge there at the top. So you can get very, very fine and slicey at the tip. I've used this quite a bit for doing fancy cheese board nights and stuff with my wife. So yeah, anyway, 35 cattle knife, that's that. Last but not least here, we got the Case Trapper, full-size Trapper. So there you go, you got your drop point, clip point, whatever you want to call that. She's in carbon steel. It's a really lengthy knife. I mean, there's 4 fingers right there. And I still got room for another one in there. It's a trapper knife, so this thing's made for like skin and small game primarily. And then this one also has the spade blade on there too, which is more of a farmer's implement. So you could call it either way. Just an outdoorsman's knife, pretty much. Also carbon steel, of course. USA made. Yep, there's your pattern, 6254. And this thing is a monster. You know, it cleans out my hand by almost an inch, pretty much, in the width. But that's okay, because I like to have a lot of grip on my knife when I'm into something, and I'm trying not to hurt myself, you know what I mean? You want to have a good grip on stuff. This is a gray jig bone, gray blue, and I love the color of this thing. I think it's unreal. Got the brass pins and brass liners. Fit and finish, not too shabby for a case. I think there's a little gapping here and there, but it's polished. I keep it pretty clean. The bolsters and stuff have a little tarnish to them from being in the slip, I guess. But yeah, she's a 2-blader, carbon steel, American made. Love that shield on there too. That's probably one of my favorite shields from Case, actually. That cursive. It's very classy, right? Very classy. Pretty decent snap. Let's listen to that one more time. So there's the drop point, clip point blade. Yep, not too bad on the spade blade. All right. Well, that about wraps it up. I'm almost at 20 minutes here, so now y'all know what I'm working with. my traditional knife collection, and it's going to keep changing and moving around here and there as time goes on. Speaking of which, I wanted to put the offer out there that if any of my other fellow knife tubers are looking to trade around and try something new, or they like something in my collection, you know, the worst I can say is no, right? So get a hold of me, and this extends to viewers also. If you want to get on my Instagram and just message me and be like, hey man, I got this, you want to try that? I really like your, you know, insert knife. So yeah, let me know. I'm a good horse trader. I'm reliable, and I like to try a lot of different things. So if you're into that deal too, then just get a hold of me. I'm gonna sign out, y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. You got to see my collection a little bit, and we'll talk to y'all soon. This is Doggone signing out.